What's up, guys? All right, I'm back here. This video is gonna be kind of like an update video, basically just where we're at with all the cars and stuff like that. And actually, I'm also gonna show you, I did get my up rev in, which is right here. So let me just open this up for you. I got it at Z1 Motorsports. Hold on, let me push it down real quick. So basically, when you buy up rev, this is what you get, is the cable. So basically, that's the cable that goes into your ECU on your vehicle, or your OBD2 port, OBD2 port, I should say. Yeah, so basically when you sync this, when you put this into your car, basically it's synced to your car and your car only, and that's how a license works. So the license is on your car and you can't do it with any other car unless you buy another license for it. And then it also comes with this memory card right there, or like a little card right there that you put on your computer, and I think that has the program on it, I believe. I've never used UpRev before, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is. So I believe you load this up to your computer, upload the program, and then obviously you can hook that to your car, and then you can actually do all your data logging and stuff like that if you want to do e-tuning and send it to whoever your tuner is. I'm going to actually get it tuned over at this place called Exact Dyno. Apparently the guy there is actually pretty good with UpRev and stuff like that, and he's done a lot of 370s and other cars with UpRev on it. So that's where I'm going to do my tuning at. That should be, hopefully I can get that done within a couple of weeks. I do want to go back to Concept Z and do one final dyno there before I go over to Exact Dyno and tune there, because because after I put the exhaust on, I haven't done another dyno to see what the exhaust did without the tune. So I want to do that at that dyno, and then go over to Exact Dyno, get a baseline there, do the tuning, and then basically we can kind of compare like what I would be making on that when I go back to Concept Z, and what the difference is between a Mustang dyno and the differences between like a hub dyno, because that's what kind of dyno they have. It's called a dyno pack, so like it bolts on directly to the hubs. So anyways, yeah, that's the UpRev. Comes with some stuff on the back, but yeah, that's basically what it looks like. I bought the standard UpRev, not the Pro. I contacted Z1 about it, and they said the standard is perfect for what I'm doing. If I wanted to tune it all myself, I would use the Pro, but they said the standard if I'm having somebody else do it for me. So, and then yeah, and then I'm kind of going to do some maintenance on the Z. The 370 needs an oil change and stuff like that, so I'll just take you guys along with that. And then I'll also talk about basically what is coming for the 370 and what's also coming for the 300ZX. So stay tuned. All right, so I got the car up in there. I just need to do the oil change on it. Just kind of get the overview of the engine bay, what that looks like. All right, so as you guys know, I have the Z-Speed undershroud under here, and basically I'm just taking the door off right now to get to my oil filter and the oil drain plug, and it's just two bolts, one right there, and then take this out just like that. Whole door comes off, and then bam, you got access to both your oil filter and your oil drain plug. So nice and convenient, easy. Yeah, so let me just get on with the oil change real quick, and then I'll give you guys basically an update of what I'm doing to everything. Also, I warmed up the car just a little bit, just so you get your oil nice and warm, not hot, warm, so it flows out better. There you go, just like that. See how it flows out nice. Yeah, just get your engine temperature. You don't have to get it warm or anything. Just turn on the car for a couple minutes and then turn it off so it's not incredibly hot or anything. Just so it's kind of warm. It helps take out all that oil. Also too, every time you do oil change, always replace that crush washer. It's a copper crush washer. Always replace it every single time. All right, so here's what the used crush washer looks like compared to the new one. The reason why you always want to change these, you just don't want to get any leaks or anything like that. So, new one's always good to have. So you start leaking oil and you don't notice it, and then you leak too much, you can blow your motor. But anyways, let me get the oil filter off and then we'll start filling her back up. Okay, so now we're doing the oil filter, and I'm just letting it kind of drain out right now, but definitely easy to get to. I didn't have to do a screwdriver trick or anything like that, because you're not supposed to tighten these oil filters like incredibly tight. You just tighten them until like they're snug, and then just a little bit tighter after that. People who crank those on way too tight, just not necessary. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until this all drains out and then take out that oil filter. Okay, so now I got the oil filter out. Basically what I do now is I just kind of inspect it up there, make sure everything looks okay, and then I clean off all the excess oil off of there, and then I'll put the new oil filter on. The oil filter I use is, this is the one I just took out, but I use Nissan OEM oil filters because they have a Pacific baffling inside these. So obviously they have that baffling in them for a reason from the factory, so that's why I use OEM filters. For oil wise, I use Mobil 1 full synthetic. I don't use ester. I don't see any benefits from the ester, so I just use Mobil 1 full synthetic. I mean, whether you go ester or Mobil 1, it's still expensive. I actually buy my full synthetic Mobil 1 at Costco. It's actually cheaper because you can get 6 quarts for like 35 bucks. So it's not bad. Instead of like going to AutoZone where you would pay like, I think it's like $9 a quart or whatever. So yeah, also when you put your oil filter back on, just take a little bit of oil from over here and then wipe it around that seal right there, and that'll make sure it doesn't dry out or anything like that. That's also a good trick to do. So I do it to all my cars. Just a little dab of oil and then just put it right over that O-ring right there. And then just hand tighten it back on and then fill her back up with oil, and then you're good to go. Okay, so everything's all buttoned up back down here. Now time to pour in the oil. Also another thing I do with with pouring in the oil and everything like that, when you have your funnel, make sure you clean out the end of your funnel too, because there might be like debris and stuff like that if it's sitting around, and you don't want that inside your engine. So just clean out the inside real quick, make sure there's nothing on it, and then start pouring your oil.
Everybody speeds in the fast lane, surely now. Revving through the gears, trying to keep ourselves from stressing out. Take a look in your heart and your soul. Is this really it? Is it all that you are? We're so caught up in the riddle, and we suffer for so little, oh Lord.
After I put 4.5 quarts in, I always check the dipstick just to make sure. I would not just go by what they recommend to put in. I mean, obviously it's probably going to be close, but always just check your dipstick and put in the appropriate amount. Also keep in mind that I'm also going to check it again too when I lower the car, because it's going to be different when it's completely flat on the ground. And then I'm also going to check it after I run it a little bit to get all that oil cycled through, and then we'll let it sit, let it all go back down, and then recheck it. So it's just slightly under halfway between the low and high. So it could be probably completely half when I put it to the ground, so that's good enough for right now. Also be careful that that O-ring fell off of this, so. So I'll put the cap back on. I'm gonna start the car while it's up in the air still, so I can check to see if there's any leaks underneath. And then if there's no leaks, I'll put it on the ground and then check it again. All right, so that's all finished up. All is changed. Then after when you're done, you just gotta go on your engine, or I mean inside your display screen if you have one, and then reset your mileage. So now for kind of like an update of what's going on. With a 300ZX, I still have more bushings I need to put in the back. There's control arm bushings and sway bar bushings for the back. And I think there is subframe and a transmission mount, or transmission mount bushing too, I believe. Yeah, I think this is it right here, maybe. And then I have a level 0 motorsports polyurethane engine mounts coming in. Should be here next week. I also have D-Works DW200 fuel pump coming in for my 300ZX, and I'm also going to do a relay to that as well, because they say to do a relay, so basically it has power all the time, and it won't like short out or anything or ruin the pump, because of the way the factory ECU or factory wiring is run and stuff like that, and where it goes to ECU. If you just run direct power to it through a relay, it flows constantly at 100% all the time. So, and it's supposedly a lot better for like tuning and everything like that too. So, so I got that coming in. I'm also gonna order a couple of couplers for that. Actually, let me go over to the car and I'll show you. Okay, so basically, I just want to get new couplers and stuff like that. So, like this one right here, I'm gonna replace this one with a silicone coupler. I'm gonna try to replace a lot of these lines too with silicone hoses. I'm just gonna try to like maybe see if because they don't technically make any for this car. One site did a while back, but they're all out of order, out of everything, and I don't know if they make them anymore, but they actually made quite a few parts for this car. I can't remember the name of that company, but I'll put it in the description. But basically I'm gonna try to like maybe get like Z32 silicone hoses and just kind of look at them online and maybe buy some, and then see if like some of them kind of like go in the same directions, and I can just use those ones. They don't have to be exact same like positions and stuff like that. As long as like I maybe have this bend and it maybe goes straight, I can just, you know, put it down. So, or like maybe from like a 240 or any other car really, at least like a Z or like 240SX or something like that. Just look at all those silicone hoses that go to those cars and maybe try to match them up to some of these hoses here. Hopefully they're similar or the same. If they're really close, it'd be no big deal. And then obviously I'll let you guys know. So if any of you 300ZX owners ever need to replace any of these hoses, instead of like buying crappy hoses from AutoZone that aren't preformed or anything like that, I can, you know, give you some insight on basically some of them that are very close to, you know, that come from different cars, but will work with this 300ZX, and though it won't be exact, but they'll be like almost like almost like really close. So because I don't really I looked online to see if there's any information on that, and I didn't see any information on that at all. So because there's no information on that at all, I'll be the guinea pig and I'll do it, and because I want to do it anyways. So I'll, you know, make those videos, and if they work, they work, which is great. And then I'll give you guys more info and just the 300ZX community, so they can do that to their cars as well. Because aftermarket support for these vehicles is, especially for the Z31, Z32 is great. Z31, there's little to none. So you kind of have to like grab stuff from other cars and see if it works and stuff like that. As far as the radiator, I'm gonna order. Champion does make a radiator for this, so I'm gonna order that, and then obviously I'm gonna look at Z32s and everything, see if like they have any of the silicone hoses that kind of match those two and the lower ones, so I can replace those. I'm also gonna do electric fans. There's one dude on YouTube. He used Maxima, Nissan Maxima fans, like a late 90s. I think any year fans like that from other Nissan car that are stock electric fans would probably work, as long as they just fit in that area that's underneath this part right here. I need to do that first and get rid of this clutch fan, so I can actually route all my turbo piping when I do my intercooler setup. So because a lot of my intercooler setup is going to come through here and straight down that way, because I'm also retaining the AC in this vehicle. So and also too, I am going to try to clean that airflow meter right there. I think that might be kind of the problem with my hesitation, right? Like when I first started up, and for the first like minute or two when you're driving, but then it goes away and it's perfect. But it's either the airflow meter or it could be the pump too. So we'll see. When I change out the pump, I'll do that first, and then once that's changed out, if it still acts up, then I'll change out that, or I'll clean out the airflow meter, and then if it still does it, I'll change it out for another one or a brand new one. I did find a new one online that I can buy. Also too, I'm going to get coilovers on here pretty soon. I'm not sure which ones. I know there's Megan Racing ones you can get. There is also this other company that makes coilovers. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they're a little bit more expensive. Or you can use S13 coilovers. But the S13 coilovers kind of like, you have to do a little bit of stuff to like the top 3 bolts, because it doesn't line up exactly from the front and the back. But the other two, they line up perfectly. It's just you have to weld the front coilovers to your spindles. Also too, I'll be doing a Z32 brake upgrade on here, and then that'll be pretty much it for then. And then eventually, the big plan for this car is when I get to another place and I have more room, I'm gonna take out the motor, rebuild the motor, and do a bigger turbo and everything like that. Also need a 30A transmission in here. And yeah, so that's kind of the plans right now. I do have that fuel pump coming in, and I do have motor mounts coming in for this car, the ones I told you earlier. And then probably next would be the radiator that I'm gonna get, and the coilovers. But yeah, and then for the 370, like I said, I have the up rev on there. I just need to do some of those dyno runs, tune it, and then I'll eventually end up getting headers for it, and then the upper and lower Z1 intake plenums, and then also that different filter and velocity stack for my Z1 intakes, because I have to get the different crash bar too for it. And then I'll do the cams. But I hope you guys like this video. Just a little bit of update video, because I don't have any really parts or anything like that to work on the cars with. So that's why I showed you kind of that oil change and just doing maintenance stuff. So I'm gonna measure out those couplers to see what size they are, so I can order those in, and then just kind of start messing with the hoses and stuff like that, and see if I can't find any 300ZX silicone hoses that'll fit in here. Well, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.